Chapter 1. Crossing into Prison. In February of the 28th year of the Republic of China, the winter in a mountain city was bone-chillingly cold, with the dampness seeping into the very marrow of one's bones. Those who have spent time in Sichuan and Chongqing understand that the winter here is not about the north wind slapping your face, but rather the persistent dampness that slowly torments people, pure magical damage that cannot be blocked no matter how thick the clothing. Lin Zhiyuan was awakened by the cold. When he opened his eyes, he found the surroundings dim, with only a small window above his head letting in a few rays of bleak light. The smell of mold mixed with dampness invaded his nostrils, and the straw beneath him was wet and hard, causing him pain all over. Baka! He instinctively cursed out the phrase he had said countless times. Where the hell has that damned crew thrown me? Lin Zhiyuan was known as a specialist in playing Japanese devils in Hongdian, often portraying various Japanese officers, appearing in many anti-Japanese dramas. Whenever a villain in an anti-Japanese drama needed to speak Japanese, the director would first think of him. For him, playing a Japanese was work, and resisting Japan was routine. Unfortunately, the anti-Japanese drama market had been sluggish in recent years, and our Lin teacher had fallen to the point of playing Baki-Yuru in a short drama, and it was the kind that got torn apart by hands. Yesterday, during an explosion scene, he was knocked unconscious by a bomb bag while moving into position, courtesy of a demolition expert that the crew had found somewhere. "Oh, Lin Ji, you're awake?" At that moment, a voice came from the darkness. "Your baka sounds really authentic. No wonder you've dealt with little devils before." Lin Zhiyuan shivered all over. Realizing that there were others around him, he struggled to sit up, only to find himself in a stone chamber of less than 10 square meters. 3 walls surrounding him, and one side barred by iron. "Wah, where's this?" "Lin Ji, are you confused?" A sallow face leaned in from outside the bars. "This is our military intelligence's guest house. You've been staying here for several months now." "Military intelligence? Guest house? Where did military intelligence get a guest house?" "No, this is a damn prison." Just as he was about to continue questioning, a sudden sharp pain struck his brain, and countless fragments of memories surged into his mind like a tide. He clutched his head and groaned in pain. "Lin Ji, are you okay?" The sallow face showed a hint of concern. "Do you want me to call a doctor?" Lin Zhiyuan gasped for air, and after a while, he finally calmed down, having to accept the fact that he had crossed over. But why was it that others crossed over into pleasant stories, while he ended up in the body of a prisoner of military intelligence? A direct hellish start. What happened to me? You had a high fever a few days ago and slept for 3 days and nights. I thought you weren't going to make it. Lin Zhiyuan forced himself to calm down and began to sort through the original owner's memories. The original owner was also named Lin Zhiyuan, graduated from the Huangpu Military Academy's 10th class, and entered military intelligence after graduation. Because he was a Huangpu graduate, he quickly rose to the position of Deputy Section Chief in the Operations Department within a few years, holding the rank of Major. A few months ago, he was imprisoned for selling military arms on the black market after being reported for taking a salary without working. Isn't it just making a bit of money and playing with a few women? Who in military intelligence is clean? Lin Zhiyuan blurted out, the words seeming to be the original owner's instinctive reaction, filled with the original owner's unique rebelliousness and resentment. The sallow face chuckled. "What Lin Ji says is right, but your case is special. Boss Dai is personally overseeing it." Lin Zhiyuan's heart tightened. Dai Chunfeng, the notorious intelligence chief during the Republic of China, was personally overseeing the original owner's case. It seemed that things were not that simple. Lin Zhiyuan then recalled that last year, the Military Intelligence Department was upgraded to the Military Intelligence Bureau, and Boss Dai had consolidated power, beginning to purge non-Jiangxia factions. Although the original owner was a Huangpu faction member, he was promoted by Boss Zhang. Now, while Boss Zhang held the title of Secretary of the Military Intelligence Bureau, he had effectively been sidelined by Dai Chunfeng and had become a mere figurehead. All the accusations of corruption and misconduct were just excuses. The real crime was standing in someone else's way. "What time is it now?" "It's almost noon. You must be hungry, right? We'll get you something to eat," the sallow face said as he prepared to leave. "Wait," Lin Zhiyuan called out, "what's your name?" The sallow face was taken aback, then quickly smiled. "Lin Ji, you really are confused in Wang San, and I've been taking care of you for the past few months." After Wang San left, Lin Zhiyuan struggled to move to the bars and looked outside. The corridors on both sides were lined with similar cells, and he could faintly hear groans and coughs. The air was thick with the smell of mold, blood, and the stench of excrement, making one nauseous. Lin Zhiyuan! A furious shout came from the opposite cell. Heaven has actually taken you, you bastard! Lin Zhiyuan squinted, faintly seeing a ragged, middle-aged man clinging to the bars, his bloodshot eyes staring fiercely at him. The man's right leg was twisted at a strange angle, and shackles hung from his exposed ankle, with a festering wound that had turned black. "Do you know me?" he asked tentatively, quickly searching his memory for that face. "Know you? Ha ha ha." The man laughed wildly. "Even if you turn to ashes, I do recognize you. This leg of mine is thanks to you." Lin Zhiyuan suddenly remembered that the other party was an officer from the Defense Department, unfortunately bought off by the Japanese. During his team's capture, the man had resisted fiercely, and in the heat of the moment, Lin Zhiyuan had broken his leg. However, looking at the other party's battered body and the heavy shackles weighing dozens of pounds, he realized that despite being in the same military intelligence prison, his treatment was indeed much better than that of this traitor. This was probably the fate of being a traitor, he thought coldly to himself. "Shut up, you dog traitor." Wang San returned with a bowl and shouted at the opposite side. "If you keep shouting, you won't get any food tonight." The man immediately fell silent and shrank back into the corner. Wang San opened the cell door and handed the bowl to Lin Zhiyuan. "Lin Ji, eat while it's hot." Inside the bowl was half a bowl of thin porridge and a bit of pickled vegetables. Lin Zhiyuan was extremely hungry and didn't mind the taste, swallowing it down in a few bites. After eating something, his mind cleared up a lot. He had been in prison since October of last year and had already been in prison for more than 3 months, yet Boss Dai had still not issued a final disposition order, it seemed. There was still hope. Since there had been no orders from above, the prison guards also dared not go too far. After all, Lin Zhiyuan was a major from Huangpu, and no one knew if he might be restored his position one day. Lin Zhiyuan remembered that the original owner's wife sent 20 yuan every month, and he couldn't help but question, with so much money every month, is this all I get to eat? "Lin Ji, please understand," Wang San said with a bitter face. "The rice prices in the mountain city are changing daily, and after layers of deductions, there's not much left by the time it gets to me." After a pause, Wang San continued. "Lin Ji, your high fever this time really scared me. If you have any connections, you should think of a way to get out. I see that the higher-ups don't seem to want to put you to death." Wang San was genuinely afraid that he would die in prison. If a military intelligence major died unexpectedly in prison, he would definitely take the blame. Seeing Wang San's obsequious manner, Lin Zhiyuan immediately understood what he was thinking. "Go, get me some wine and dishes. Then also send a message to Zhao Tianming from the operations department, saying that I want to see him." Wang San's face instantly scrunched up. "Don't worry, Tianming was trained by me. Even if I have to go out, I need to first figure out the situation in the bureau, right? Don't be stingy with the money for wine and dishes. As long as I can get out, you'll definitely benefit." Wang San quickly said, "Lin Ji, you misunderstood. He'll go take care of it right now. Right now." Chapter 2. Secret Talks in Prison. Wang San's efficiency in handling matters exceeded Lin Zhiyuan's expectations. In less than 2 hours, he was taken to a relatively clean cell. Calling it clean was an exaggeration. There was only a layer of straw on the floor, fewer bloodstains on the walls, and the nauseating smell of mold and blood was gone. On a low table lay a few dishes: a plate of soy sauce beef, half a roast chicken, a plate of stir-fried greens, and a small pot of warm rice wine. "Master Lin, please eat first. Captain Zhao will be here shortly." "Captain?" Lin Zhiyuan keenly caught the change in title. He remembered Zhao Tianming as a captain when he was under him. The organization of the Military Intelligence Bureau was managed vertically in 4 levels: Bureau, Department, Section, and Team. The highest official of the Bureau was nominally the chairman, but in practice, it was the Deputy Director Dai Chunfeng who held full authority. In terms of organizational structure, the Military Intelligence Bureau had 6 core departments: the Intelligence Department, Operations Department, Communications Department, Military Department, Personnel Department, and General Affairs Department. Each department further divided into several sections based on their focus, and each section subdivided into teams based on task types, with the intelligence and operations teams further split into several squads. It seemed that after his imprisonment, Zhao Tianming's situation was not too good either. This was normal in the Military Intelligence Bureau, which could be ruthless. Losing one's backing often led to exclusion. That Zhao Tianming could remain in the bureau and even come to visit him was already considered fortunate. Lin Zhiyuan felt a wave of irritation and waved for Wang San to leave. After Wang San exited, he tore off a chicken leg and stuffed it into his mouth. This body had been imprisoned for over 3 months and was already weak after suffering a high fever, urgently needed nourishment. Before long, the cell door was gently pushed open and a young man in a Zhongshan suit quickly walked in. Lin Zhiyuan looked up and carefully examined this one-scapable subordinate. Zhao Tianming, selected from local troops to join the Military Intelligence Bureau, was formerly the leader of the 3rd Group of the Operations Department, skilled in demolition, in close combat, and had carried out several assassination missions with him. Sit. Lin Zhiyuan gestured to the seat opposite him while giving Wang San a knowing look. Wang San understood and discreetly left, closing the cell door behind him. As soon as Zhao Tianming sat down, he lowered his voice. Chief, you've suffered these past few months. Lin Zhiyuan waved his hand. I'm no longer a chief. He poured Zhao Tianming a cup of wine. But you, how did you become a captain? Zhao Tianming let out a bitter laugh, took a sip of wine. It's all due to the rectification movement. They accused me of embezzlement and demoted me from group leader to captain. Chief, you don't know that those in power in the bureau now are all from Dai's home region. That a flash of resentment crossed Zhao Tianming's eyes. The intelligence and operations departments are now led by Xiang Shiji and Zhao Zili respectively, and the inspection office has been taken over by Mao Cheng. Even the confidential office has their people installed. Those of us who used to follow Boss Zheng are either sent to the special operations teams or reassigned to local areas. Lin Zhiyuan frowned slightly. Has Boss Zheng not said anything for his brothers? Alas, you still don't know Boss Zheng's temperament? He always takes a step back when faced with issues. While it's fine for him, it's hard on us brothers working below. The topic was too sensitive, and Lin Zhiyuan feared there might be ears on the wall, so he quickly interrupted Zhao Tianming. All right, let's talk about the situation outside. How is the war going? Not good. Zhao Tianming's voice dropped even lower after Jiangcheng fell. The Japanese have been pushing towards Tancheng. The most troublesome part is that with Wang Tianhai's commotion, many fence-sitters have begun to waver. Last week, 2 department heads from the Ministry of Finance requested leave to return home, but they detoured to Hong Kong halfway, and yesterday they appeared in Shanghai. They even published a statement condemning the Shanghai government. Boss Dai was summoned to the presidential residence and scolded for a long time. I heard he came back in a rage. Lin Zhiyuan downed his drink in one gulp, and he roughly understood the current situation. 1939 was the most difficult time of the War of Resistance. Not only was the front line retreating continuously, but there was also the great traitor Wang Tianhai within. No wonder no one was dealing with a small fry like him. Has Boss Dai said anything about my case? Zhao Tianming shook his head. It's still unresolved, not just you but several officers who are in prison with you. The Bureau hasn't taken any action yet. Lin Zhiyuan could guess part of it. Although Boss Zheng had lost much of his power, he had good relations with some big shots in the military. Dai Chunfeng still relied on him to ease tensions with the military and didn't want to make things too difficult. After pondering for a moment, Lin Zhiyuan suddenly asked, what's the situation in the Shanghai market now? Zhao Tianming's expression darkened. Not long ago, the deputy station master of the Shanghai station defected, and the entire station almost got wiped out by the Japanese. Boss Dai had no choice but to send the deputy station master of Jiangcheng, Wang Jiatsai, to Shanghai to reorganize the station. Now Wang Tianhai and some prominent figures have gone to the Shanghai market, and the pressure on our brothers of the Shanghai station has greatly increased. Operating behind enemy lines, Boss Dai is constantly urging for results. I've heard that in the past few months, just the action team has lost several hundred men. Lin Zhiyuan tapped the table thoughtfully. This might be his opportunity. Tianming, go find a section chief and tell him I want to redeem myself by going to Shanghai to carry out assassination missions. Zhao Tianming was taken aback. Chief, Shanghai is a den of dragons, and tigers going there is like facing certain death. Lin Zhiyuan's expression was calm, but his tone was unusually firm. I understand some Japanese. Now that the situation in the War of Resistance is dire, I want to serve my country. I don't wish to die in this prison. Even if I sacrifice myself, it is... He deliberately spoke in a tragic tone, but inside, he was calculating rapidly as a time traveler. He had played so many Japanese officers and had seen no less than 500 scripts, making him well-versed in this history. Going to Shanghai was dangerous, but it was better than being trapped in this dark, lifeless cell. Once he got out, there would be a chance for a turnaround. But Zhao Tianming still wanted to dissuade him. There is no but. Lin Zhiyuan interrupted him. Zhao Tianming ultimately only nodded heavily. Chief, take care. After Zhao Tianming left, Lin Zhiyuan finished his last cup of wine and slowly closed his eyes. He certainly knew the dangers of Shanghai, especially in a few months when the infamous No. 76 Special Agent Headquarters would be established. At that time, the Military Intelligence Bureau's Shanghai station would almost be uprooted. The station chief would have changed several times, and 10 out of 9 agents sent. They would either have perished or defected, with the remaining personnel forced to huddle in the French concession. But he had no other choice rather than waiting to die in this prison. He might as well take a gamble. Moreover, this was a war that had sacrificed 37 million compatriots. Now that he had crossed over, he had to do something. That night, at the Military Intelligence Bureau headquarters in Lin Zhiyuan, Yuzhong District, Shanghai. This place had originally been the office of the Shanghai Police Headquarters. Since the national government moved its capital, it had become the central institution of the Military Intelligence Bureau. At this moment, Boss Dai slammed a telegram heavily on the desk. Useless. What has Wang Jiazai been doing all day? Just asking for money and manpower that I dispatched 2 special operations teams to him. Is this the only result he has achieved in such a long time? Boss Dai was so furious mainly because of the 2 department heads from the Ministry of Finance who had defected to Shanghai and surprisingly published a peace and salvation declaration on the front page of Shanghai newspapers that morning. Now, not only the military committee, but even the old man felt that he hadn't done his job well and had specifically called him over to scold him for a long time. Director, please see. The operations director, Zhao Zili, braced himself to explain, Shanghai is now the Japanese stronghold in East China, and we've lost dozens of brothers this month. Dead ones can be replaced. Don't talk to me about numbers. What I want are the heads of the Wang puppet high-ranking officials, not these insignificant pawns. To be honest, the loss of so many action team members was negligible for Boss Dai. The Military Intelligence Bureau had plenty of manpower, and he could afford to lose them. But he could never let the old man think he was incompetent. That was the foundation of his power, and once shaken, the consequences would be unimaginable. Since Wang Tianhai defected to Shanghai, he had immediately dispatched 2 special operations teams to the Shanghai station. More than a month has passed, and more officials have defected to the Wang puppet regime, but the Wang family has not yet achieved any significant results. Now, the Japanese and puppet authorities have taken precautions, making it increasingly difficult to make any progress.